Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Waifuware, the show where we take a look at all those cheap games on Steam trying to bait you into spending your hard-earned dollar at the promise of some digital ass and titty. On today's episode, Karakara 1 and Karakara 2. Both Karakara 1 and 2 are developed by Calm and published by Sekai Project, and both have very positive reviews. Karakara 1 released on June 27th of 2016 and currently costs $10.99 Canadian. Karakara 2 released over a year later in November 10th of 2017 and currently costs $11.49. Though more expensive than what I usually cover on here, both of these games frequently see sales from 50 to 90% off, making them easy to get at a low price. I beat both of these games from start to finish, and this is what I experienced. First and foremost, Karakara is nothing but a visual novel. In fact, it may be more accurate to call it a kinetic novel. There are no gameplay elements or even dialogue choices, it's just images and words. In a way, Karakara 1 is a massive story told in very few words. At its root, it's the story of two characters struggling to run a diner in the middle of an arid desert at a time when the global population has decreased so dramatically that capitalism is an economic practice that can't quite sustain the people. Our two main characters are Leon, a human boy, and Lucia, a Neko girl. The game takes the time to explain that these humanoids with animal tails and ears like Lucia didn't always exist and were more of an evolution over time. People like Leon who have no animal traits at all are very rare, especially following a fabled cataclysmic event that nearly wiped the face of the earth clean of all life. In the wake of such a massive cataclysm, the modern societies we know today all vanished, and those with knowledge in special fields of study completely ceased to exist. As a result, most technologies in Karakara have been rendered useless, and those that aren't will simply become useless as soon as they break down or require service, as there is nobody left alive who can understand the technology enough to service it. One day while driving the desert highway, Leon and Lucia come across a girl sleeping on the side of the road. This girl is named Isia. Leon and Lucia take Isia to their home/diner and give her some food. After a brief explanation as to what she was doing on the side of the highway, Isia asks for employment and a place to stay, and she's granted it. To sum the story up from here on out, Isia's inclusion in Leon and Lucia's life drives a bit of a fork in their relationship, and what follows is a bunch of slice-of-life moments and conflicts that, sadly due to the game's short runtime, are brought up and resolved all within minutes. And what is that runtime? Well, depending on how fast you read or if you just let it autoplay, this game will take you 1.5 to 3 hours to complete. So all of that history and world lore I explained a short while ago has to be crammed into this rather centralized story of our three main characters at a diner. What results is undoubtedly a charming and wholesome slice-of-life visual novel, but sadly it doesn't have the time it requires to pull off anything of too much depth or leave a lasting impact, which is a damn shame because it has everything in place to absolutely pull it off, minus the runtime. The runtime can be extended by downloading content restoration patches, but it kind of comes at a cost. While the characters always stay in character, it kind of changes the overall wholesome nature of the story, and the extending content doesn't exactly develop on anything integral to the world or narrative. Karakara 1 does have some nice, and I'd say even cute lewds, but it never feels out of place to me. Karakara 2 doesn't have any lewds at all, but what it lacks in that department, it makes up for with a bit more to its story. Karakara 2 is a direct follow-up to the first game and has a runtime of about 3 to 4 hours. With much of the world and main characters being established in Karakara 1, these 3 to 4 hours are much more focused and better paced, taking appropriate amounts of time to explore its two new characters and also more of the history of the world, giving a reason why Leon seems to be the only guy in the story. As we learn in this game, boys are simply few and far between. As a result, polygamy is the norm and women come from all over the world looking for marriage. Leon has no shortage of proposals at his disposal, but he's far from ready to become beholden to somebody in that manner. And of course, his interests lie in the women he has at home. Karakara 2 still works very much as a slice of life, with fleeting and almost meaningless conflicts, as we inch closer and closer to the harem ending we all knew was coming from the very beginning. But the new backdrop to the plotline works as a great glue to hold it all together. On top of this, the game has a proper unfolding subplot that poses a real conflict in the main story. Sadly, it isn't utilized utilized to its full potential, rather it's used to set up an upcoming sequel, which leads me to my one complaint about this series. Neither Karakara 1 or Karakara 2 feel like full games on their own. Karakara 1 is too unfocused and rushed to work as a full visual novel. Karakara 2 works, but only because of what Karakara 1 set up. And with the second ending with obvious sequel bait, it seems to me the series should be regarded as episodic rather than calling these sequels. They are priced as budget visual novels, but not as the episodic experiences they feel like. At the very least, the quality of these games are quite high. The art in both games is incredibly well done and has a nice soft color palette. The music I'd say is good but not fantastic. It always complements the action, but doesn't exactly stand out as memorable. The options menu is quite fleshed out and the translation is near spotless. Karakara 2 definitely shows an improvement over the first with additional environments, characters, and animations. Aside from the main character, the game is fully voiced in Japanese, and honestly, I thought the voiceover work was really good.
あの人はところで今朝のオニオンスープですけど作り方変えたんですか？少しいつものレオンの味付けと違ったような気がして。
The game does have the same issue I find many budget visual novels do, where the text boxes will freeze on their own if left to autoplay, but it's a minor annoyance. I certainly didn't feel like it was a waste of time to play these games, but I wouldn't say you should play one without playing the other. To me, they only work as a set, but they still leave me desiring just a bit more to call this a full or proper experience. At the sale prices I bought these at, I'm not disappointed, and I will be playing Karakara 3 if I can get it on sale at release. And that's all I'm gonna say on Karakara 1 and 2. If you guys found this video helpful or useful at all, you know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Links to socials, Twitter, Discord, it's all in the description. As always, folks, thanks for watching.